Now, we had to bleep some of that because he was...
Answer, you don't believe you're crazy, do you?
No, I don't think I'm crazy, no.
This is Markeith Loyd, who's in court for fatally shooting a police officer in Orlando, Florida. Loyd was already on the run from the police after he killed his former girlfriend, who was pregnant with his child. A month later, we can see Loyd walking into a Walmart. Only moments later, Lieutenant Deborah Clayton of the Orlando Police would also walk in. On security cameras, we see them cross paths multiple times. When Lieutenant Clayton was walking back to her car, she was made aware that Loyd was spotted in that same Walmart. She went back in to make an arrest. As she approached Loyd, he pulled out a gun and shot her 4 times, ultimately killing her. Loyd managed to escape the scene, sparking a manhunt for who, at the time, was the most wanted man in Florida. 9 days later, Loyd's house would be surrounded by SWAT. If you watch closely through infrared cameras, we can actually see Loyd bear crawl his way to his arrest. Though Loyd seemed to have surrendered, during his arrest he suffered severe injuries to his face. In fact, he lost one of his eyes because of the beating the officers gave him. Some would consider this an eye for an eye. Fast forward to his court appearances, where Loyd would be seen throwing tantrums.
I'm reading the lecture back then, but somehow I have absolutely don't know nothing about. And they frame me,
Doing a first appearance hearing, he can be taken after he signs. Have him sign the no contact.
And even threatening the judge.
Mr. Loyd, watch your tone and the way you speak. Out. Out.
Later, Loyd would be given the chance to speak.
All my life, I looked out for people. All my life, I did for my people. This city loved me. I didn't have a gun, and I thought she had armed herself. And when she made a move, I just was reacting to everything around me. He attacked me, and he put my mindset somewhere else.
Loyd faced a jury who ultimately recommended he receive the maximum sentence possible.
We, the jury, unanimously find that the defendant, Markeith Loyd, should be sentenced to death. Answer, yes.
Loyd erupted.
Let's get him out, folks.
Here is the moment Markeith would receive his death sentence.
I hereby sentence you to death.
Loyd is currently on death row at Union Correctional Institution. Fortunately, Loyd was caught after only killing 2 people. However, the same can't be said for the case of Nikko Jenkins, a quadruple murderer from Omaha, Nebraska. Jenkins was responsible for a series of heinous murders in a 10-day killing spree in Omaha, Nebraska. Previously, he had been sent to a youth correctional facility and served a 10-year sentence for carjacking and assault. However, shortly after his release, Jenkins embarked on a path of violence. Within a month of his release, Jenkins shot and killed 2 individuals during a robbery. He continued his spree by targeting a former inmate he had met in prison, who he shot and killed in his own garage. 2 days later, in another carjacking, he claimed his 4th victim. Although initially arrested for unrelated charges, crucial evidence like DNA and the murder weapon linked Jenkins to the killings. Prepare for a twist that will make your jaw drop.
You not realize I got Nikko Jenkins? You not realize that? I got Nikko Jenkins. I got you. What do you mean you got me? I got your DNA at the murder scene. I got your DNA in the car. Sir. I got the weapon. I got Nikko Jenkins.
Jenkins' utter lack of remorse in the courtroom. He eventually pleaded no contest to 4 counts of first-degree murder and waived his right to a jury trial.
Resurrection. Russia, get dead.
Yelling something about a socialist revolution at our cameras, and during his hearing, yelling over Judge Peter Battalion, quote, "Let me talk, Your Honor, you're violating my human rights." Even calling Judge Battalion prejudiced, the same judge that'll oversee his trial in the absence of a jury. But right out of the gate, Jenkins made an objection, Battalion asking to what?
Opting for a 3-judge panel to determine his fate. The gravity of Jenkins' actions was undeniable. The murders were deliberate, pre-selected, and purposeful. Upon being found guilty of all 4 murders, Jenkins received a death penalty sentence.
Therefore, this panel finds that the death penalty is appropriate should be and is hereby given for each of the 4 murders by the defendant.
Strikingly, he remained seemingly unfazed during this sentencing. Currently, he's incarcerated at the Nebraska State Penitentiary, awaiting the implementation of his death sentence. However, while Jenkins' behavior raised eyebrows, it's nothing compared to the explosive actions of Michael Brady during his trial.
Stabbed him like 4 to 8 times. When I punched her in the face is when she fell down.
Michael Brady was convicted of attempted murder and was facing a 24-year prison term after shooting at a North Carolina state trooper. However, things took a dark turn when he, along with 3 other inmates, brutally attacked and killed 4 prison workers using hammers and scissors at Pasquotank Correctional Institution in North Carolina. The level of violence in the attack was described as horrific, leaving a scene akin to a bloodbath. If you thought Brady would show remorse for his crimes, be prepared for his jaw-dropping conduct during the proceedings. During the trial, prosecutors argued that Brady was the mastermind behind the attack and showed no remorse for the lives lost.
We know who originated the plan. We know who led the plan. We know who put the actions in place to furtherance of the plan. That man, Michael Brady.
I stabbed him like 4 to 8 times. She was supposed to go down.
Then Brady took the stand.
You can ask me anything you want. I'm gonna tell the truth. How it was, whether it hurts me, whether it helps me. I don't care about that.
Answer, you don't believe you're crazy, do you?
No, I don't think I'm crazy, no.
Because your freedom meant more than their lives.
Yes. That's how I am until some big event, whether it's shooting a state trooper, whether it's trying to escape from prison, whether it's a serious fight, whether it's whatever. Once that big event happens, all the pressure's gone.
He was found guilty, and at his sentencing, he maintained a disturbingly emotionless demeanor. The jury unanimously recommended the death penalty, a sentence the judge readily agreed upon.
A jury unanimously recommending that the defendant be sentenced to death.
Brady's now incarcerated in Colorado. He awaits his date with the death penalty. However, it's not the first time a convict was emotionless in court, just like what happened in the notorious case of 30-year-old Bass Webb, who was charged with 2 counts of attempted murder for attempting to run over 2 jail employees with his car outside a Kentucky jail, resulting in severe injury for one, while the other narrowly escaped. While the crimes committed by Webb were reprehensible, his conduct in court will make your blood run cold. Webb was subsequently arrested and charged for his violent actions. Judge Dixon, originally assigned to preside over the case, had to recuse herself due to her connection with the victims. The most shocking moment came when Webb spat on the judge during his court appearance, earning himself additional charges. This disrespectful act left everyone, including his own attorney, in disbelief. Webb's violent tendencies didn't stop there. While awaiting trial, he ignited a riot among fellow inmates at the Fayette County Detention Center. He took a leading role in this chaos, even after being shot with beanbag bullets and hit with a pepper ball. He went so far as to throw a metal telephone box at officers. Webb was eventually charged with third-degree assault for these actions, resulting in a 15-year prison sentence. Later, he was found guilty of 2 counts of attempted murder for the car incident, adding an extra 37 years to his sentence, totaling 52 years. During his incarceration, Webb was linked to an unsolved murder of an ex-girlfriend. To avoid the death penalty, he pled guilty to the murder and received an additional 50-year sentence. Years later, he faced charges for the decades-old murder of another girlfriend. Due to his time in prison, Webb's appearance and demeanor had changed, but not his capacity to shock. Tattoos on his head bore chilling messages, including a hit list targeting judges, prosecutors, law enforcement, and the media. During his trial, evidence revealed the gruesome details of how he choked his girlfriend to death and buried her body. Yet, he remained unrepentant, even laughing during proceedings. After a lengthy trial, the jury delivered its verdict,
You have found the defendant guilty of the offense of intentional murder,
sentencing Webb to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 25 years. However, when emotions run high in court, The actions of Webb and Darrel Brooks leave us questioning sanity itself. Darrel Edward Brooks Jr. faced severe charges, including murder, for driving his SUV into a Christmas parade crowd in Waukesha, Milwaukee, on November 2021. The horrendous act resulted in the deaths of 6 people, including an 8-year-old, and left dozens injured. Despite the horrifying nature of Brooks' offenses, his actions during sentencing managed to shock everyone present.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
During the trial, Brooks displayed a disruptive and aggressive attitude, often interrupting Judge Jennifer Darrow. In response, the judge isolated Brooks in a separate room with a monitor, muting him unless it was his designated speaking time. This was necessary whenever he disregarded the judge's authority and spoke out of turn.
Like, I don't even want to be in here that much longer. Just do what you got to do so I can get up out of here. I'm tired of being in the courtroom that has no integrity whatsoever. How can you even call yourself
Mr.
a judge?
Brooks, I need to make a record of some
I need to make a record too.
You don't
when am I going to get the chance to do that?
In the sentencing phase, Judge Darrow did not mince words. She emphasized that Brooks showed no remorse or empathy for his atrocious actions, and made it clear that no one was safe from his destructive tendencies.
Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life.
Brooks addressed the court during the sentencing, rambling on for over 2 hours, expressing confusion about the tragedy and how life had strayed from what it should be. He claimed he felt no anger and promised not to attack anyone. Yet, he did verbally attack the district attorney.
The record should
Where's the
reflect
contract between you and I?
that Mr. Brooks
If it's
is
criminal,
yelling at me.
what is the crime?
He is.
Who makes the claim? And what
He
is
is. I will make the record when we get back. I will step off, but Mr. Brooks, you're being
It ain't
taken
no
to
Mr.
the
it
next
ain't no Mr.
courtroom.
Brooks.
Brooks' family attempted to argue about his mental state, but the judge swiftly dismissed this argument.
How could life ever get this far away from what it should be? Regardless of what a lot of people may think about me, about who I am, about my family, about my beliefs, I know who I am. God knows who I am. And I don't have any words of anger, any shots, so to speak, to throw back. As I said before, I had to look inside myself and understand why the comments was being made. Why people feel the way they feel, and they have the right to.
Stating that mental health wasn't an excuse for his actions. She emphasized that he knew the difference between right and wrong, and that his heart was bent on evil. After a tense trial, the jury found Brooks guilty on all 76 counts related to the attack, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide.
This court is imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another.
Judge Jennifer Darrow sentenced him to 6 consecutive life sentences and added 17.5 years for each of the 61 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety with a dangerous weapon.
1 life sentence for Virginia Sorensen. 1 life sentence for Leanna Owen. 1 life sentence for Tamara Durand. 1 life sentence for Jane Kulik. 1 life sentence for Bill Hospital.
If you thought these reactions were shocking, you'd be amazed at this video of school shooters who showed no remorse.